Priyanka, you can start. You can welcome Mr. Aman Raj for the next session.
Thank you, sir. Now let's move forward for the second session of this is FDP, which is on AI for everyone, prompt engineering and common AI tools. We are honored to have Mr. Aman Raj with us today as our resource person. He is currently working as a senior consultant AI and ML at Deloitte USI, Kolkata. He has a strong industry experience in data science, machine learning, and generative AI, having worked across Deloitte USI and Tata Consultancy Services on expertise scales AI initiatives. Mr. Raj holds expertise in traditional data science and next generation AI systems. Sir will combine technical depth and practical industry insight, and that will help us in learning and building and scaling AI solutions in real world expertise environments. Uh, Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Aman Raj, sir.
Very warm welcome, Aman.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shiva. Thank you, Priyanka. Happy to be here. Happy to engage and engage with the audience on AI. And yeah, I'm hoping that at the end of the session, I might make some people more curious about AI than what they already are. I think we already have so many people, so they should be curious enough, but I would really want that at the end of the session, they should get more curious about AI because this is the next big change that is coming. Okay, so I will go ahead and share my screen. So just give me a thumbs up if you are able to see it at your end.
Yes, sir. We are able to see your screen. Just an suggestion, please go on the slideshow and start the presentation. That would be more.
I'm going on
It
the
will give a full
presentation
screen
mode.
view.
Okay, so yeah, the topic for today is, so you can see it now in the full screen.
Yes.
Cool. So I will start the session first by discussing the agenda that what we are going to discuss. So this session will predominantly talk about what is AI. We'll start with like the story of AI, I would say. Anything that you want to learn, I believe that first we should know what we are learning and we should know why we want to learn it. So we will start our discussion with what is AI and why it matters. Then the $1 million question, will AI is going to replace you? And by the end of the session, I think I will be able to give you an answer. Then we will move ahead with generative AI and we will take our journey to agentic AI. Then we'll discuss about some of the challenges and risk of using AI. And then we will go ahead with prompt engineering and tools that you guys should know. And I'll just try to teach you guys how to use it more effectively. So let's start it. So before we go and dive on AI, I want to like get you through some of the major big breakthroughs that have been done in humanity, which have essentially changed the way that humans have worked. So at early stage, fire was invented, which essentially was one of the biggest inventions in the humankind. From there, it enabled survival of early men. People learned cooking, and this was one of the major breakthrough. After that, we went agrarian. Humans started shifting to agriculture for food. Then the next invention that came was wheel, where what it did, it revolutionized the transport, trade, and logistic. Then steam engine came and it started the area of industrial revolution. After this, electricity was the another major breakthrough where it enabled factories and it encouraged mass production of the products. Then we came into the era of computer where it automated the calculation and office work. And after that, internet was the next big thing, which essentially changed everything. And now the next big shift is what is the topic of today, that is AI. So why AI is such a big deal now? I think AI has already been there. Everyone should have been like should have heard AI quite a few time back only. But why AI is now making such a big buzz? Why? So I would encourage you to just stay with me for a little long. I am going to answer this question very soon. Now, uh, what is AI? I think we all know what the AI is. We just uh, want to reiterate that what AI does. AI refers to the machine that can perform tasks without requiring human intervention. So it learns from data, it understands patterns, and it is able to take decision it of its own. That is what an high level understanding of AI is. So let's keep it that and move ahead. Now, the question, will AI replace you? And what is the answer to this? It's yes and no. Why yes and no? AI is definitely going to change a lot of things that how we work. There will be huge shift in industry. So that's why I say yes, because there will be some jobs that won't be there going forward, let's say 5 years from now. But is it the only thing that is going to happen? Like when computer came, people had the discussion that, okay, now what will happen? What again, it will take some jobs. But what happened that rather than taking jobs, it created more jobs. So I am very bullish on the fact that AI is going to create more jobs and AI is going to create more employment than what we can imagine at this point of time. It is a scary thing when you hear that is it going to replace you, and when you see that what AI is capable of doing. So definitely it raised a lot of eyebrows, but don't worry, I would say what you need to start the wagon that you want to learn AI and you want to use AI so that you stay ahead of majority of people. And I think most of the people are in this session are already following on that wagon. That's why they're here. So yeah, to answer this question at this point of time, it is yes and no. But at the end of the session, I will again come back to this question. Now let's start our journey from generative AI to agentic AI. Okay. Before I start this, up till this point, if anyone has any questions.
Just a suggestion, Aman, we can take the questions towards the end.
Okay. Yeah, sure, that would work. Okay, so where does the journey of LLM started? Sorry, generative AI started. It started with the large language models. But what is large language models and how it came into existence? So for those who have followed the history of how artificial intelligence has evolved, at first it was just some heuristic approaches using which we used to do our work. Then came the era of machine learning, where people started using mathematics, and then they built some great scientists built some multiple algorithms which essentially started the era of machine learning. And after that, the next big thing was deep learning, where the deep learning where we try to create neural networks which essentially mimics how humans learn. So that's why it is called neural network. And that neural network was the starting point of, is the most fundamental basic block of large language model. So, but now again, deep learning came back quite early in early 2000s. So after that, there has been quite a few advancements there. So from deep learning, we went ahead and we created RNN, that is recurrent neural network, which essentially works on the textual data. There has been a lot of developments in the NLP field. And but what changed everything was a paper called Attention is All You Need. So in 2017, some of Google's most bright minds worked and prepared this paper that is called Attention is All You Need. What this paper proposed was an architecture of something that is called a transformer, which is the building block of what we call LLM now. So this was the paper which essentially changed everything. So in late 2017, they come up with this paper on attention and how they defined attention and how they define transformer architecture is something that I would at least need 3 hours to tell you guys everything. But uh, considering the time that we have today, uh, you can, in the most easiest language, I can say that how it works is that it takes input, which is vector embeddings of the textual data. What are these vector embeddings? You can just understand this as uh, n-dimensional representation of numbers. So how this transformer architecture works is that they have trained a next word prediction algorithm on the transformer architecture, where from input, what they were trying to do is they were trying to pass the text. And from there, at the end, it gives the output probability of what should be the next word out of that text. So if I give my model a sentence like sun rises in, then the next word then for the next word, the probability for the sun rises in east. So the east word will be quite higher when compared to sun rises in west, or let's say any other words. So in this manner, the learning happened on the transformer architecture. And from there, it laid a foundation and the backbone of large language models. So now again, coming back to the large language models. What are large language models? Large language models are a machine learning or a deep learning model, which has been trained on massive data sets. And when I say massive data sets, it's like you can consider the entire knowledge of the internet, books. So almost majority of the data that you see that has been feed into the large language models. And from there, it has been trained on the next word prediction to build the large language model. Now, I've just explained about the paper on attention is all you need. But if I want to like tell you how, even deeper how these LLMs are trained, so the very first step is essentially the data collection, where we collect all the data. Now, the question comes that what should be the sources of these data? So the sources are different books, website, public documents, code repositories. AI world, we say garbage in, garbage out. So if you give your model garbage data, then you're going to get garbage as output. So that's why the next step is cleaning of the data. So what cleaning means that we remove duplicates, spam, noise, and any unsafe content that we feel that we should not train the LLM on. So at this step, we clean our data. Then the next step is tokenization, which what I was just explaining couple of moments back. So a single token represents a vector representation of multiple piece of words. For example, artificial intelligence. So we can break it down to artificial and intelligence. And these also gets represented in vector embeddings in an n-dimensional vector space. So these are token. So the third step is essentially tokenization, where my textual data gets converted into n-dimensional vector numbers. Then we come to the architecture of what we just discussed, the transformer architecture, where the key mechanism was an attention. And what attention does, it's nothing, it's just focus on the relevant words. So whenever, like even we as humans, we read something, we try to only focus on something that we feel that is more relevant. So similar manner, this transformer architecture works on the basis of attention mechanism. So I always say that when you want to understand AI, you consider AI as it is a super smart kid which needs a lot of guidance. And everything about AI, everything that you want to understand about AI, just take analogy from how humans do something. So just like how we as humans uh, while reading something, put attention on particular parts of sentences, particular parts of text. Similarly, is how LLM architecture is also trained. Now, the next step is essentially pre-training, where it worked on the next word prediction, which I just explained a couple of minutes back. Moving on, uh, the next step is essentially what we called as back propagation, which is the very foundation of how learning happens. So we take a corpus of data, we remove some words from it, and we give the right word to the LLM. LLM predicts something. Then it checks that what it has predicted, is it correct or not? If it is correct, then okay. If it is not correct, then LLM tries to understand it by changing its weights and some other parameters. Now, I'm hoping that you guys are able to connect what weights are because this is very fundamental of deep learning architecture. So we have different weights there where all these weights are getting updated. So this happens for millions and billions of times where uh, LLM predicts something. It computes what is the loss there, like how far is it from the output. Then it readjusts the weights. Then it again does the prediction. And so on and so forth goes on until LLM start making improvement and gradual intelligence emerges in this manner. So now we have a trained model which essentially is able to understand uh, what text data is, and it is able to predict the next word. But pre-training sometimes is it's not enough. Why? Because because next word prediction, when you want to do a certain task, then you sometimes needs to fine tune your LLM based on what you want to achieve from it. Giving an example, suppose that uh, you give you are training your LLM and you want the answer from LLM just be in the format true or false. So you need to train your LLM by fine tuning it on a data set where you give the quest where you give the question, you give the answer, such that LLM should be able to understand that, hey, user only wants the output to be true or false, nothing more. So in this way, we want to fine tune our LLM so that we can fulfill what our purpose is. Now, the final step is what we call human feedback. Now, AI generates a response at this point of time. Humans rate it that if this answer is good, if this answer is bad. And based on this, again, weights are adjusted and then model learns, and this process keeps on evolving over time. Now, it's very important that while we are training the LLM, we also consider some safety and guardrails around it. Why? Because the internet has almost everything, right? There are good things, there are bad things. Also, uh, ev- it is full of biased data. For example, when you most of the people in the world use their right hand for writing. There are people who use left hand for writing, but most people prefer to write from their right hands. So when you train the LLM, you also need to consider the biases that it has. So all these things, we want to go ahead and we want to do some guardrails. We need to take care of these things. So when we talk about safety alignment and guardrails, there are content moderation that happens. We do something for bias reduction. We do things for refusal mechanism. Suppose you want LLM to not touch some topics, let's say, which are controversial, like anything with religion. You don't want LLM to go ahead and start commenting on religion. So you go ahead and build refusal mechanisms that, hey, if user asks about religion, don't give any responses which is going to create a havoc. People will start writing and all. So all these layers of safety are added when we train the LLM. And at this time, LLM is ready, and we have our large language model, we are, which we see. So moving on. Now we have learned about the LLMs, and we have learned that LLM are the basic of, uh, is the very core of generative AI. There are a couple of terminologies that I want you guys to get familiar with, because you guys will be, you guys should know this, because you guys might be getting to working with the LLMs. So the first thing is prompts. I think most of you should be already familiar with it. Anything that you write to your LLM to do, that is something that you can call as prompt. Any instructions that you give to AI is essentially prompt. The next thing is the context window. Now, what is this context window? You can consider context window as a limitation of what LLM can remember at once. Like I said, if you want to consider AI as a kid, as a human only. So we as human being also have certain limitation, that if we read something, then only we can remember only some part of it. So context window is essentially the same concept, where it is a token count. So essentially, for let's take example for chat GPT. So for GPT-4 or GPT-3 model, you'll see the context window essentially is 128K. That is, that at once chat GPT or GPT-3 or GPT 4.0 can remember anything that you fit into that 128K context window. Moving on, we have tokens. So we have already touched tokens, so I'm not going to reiterate. Next is the parameters. So there are three very useful parameters that essentially is there with the LLM. Now, this could be something that predominantly developers work around with, but we now even have Google AI Studio and OpenAI Studio, where you can, if you want, you can just play around with this data, which essentially is with which you can get some different results. So let me just give you a brief about it, what it does. So these parameters are something that essentially talks about like how deterministic or how creative you want to be with your output. So we have parameters like temperature, top K, top P. So, and all of them are essentially between 0 to 1, other than top K. So temperature and top P, you can put it at between 0 and 1. A lower temperature means that you want your model to give deterministic results, and a higher temperature closer to 1 means that you want your model to be more creative. Top K and top P are a little bit more technical, so I'm not going to touch that. Essentially, you can play around with it. It is going to it is going to just slightly modify your output. So do play around with it. The next one is hallucinations. And this is one of the major challenges that we have at this point of time with LLM and generative AI. So what are these hallucinations? These are some confident mistakes that LLM makes. LLM, you ask something, LLM gives the output, but sometimes it makes mistake. Just like we are humans, LLM is also trying to mimic humans. It is trying to get better than us, that is for sure, but it still makes some mistakes, and it is very confident about the mistakes that it makes. So we have hallucinations. Now, we have covered generative AI. I think at this point of time, people should be familiar with what generative AI is, what LLM is, how LLMs are trained, and what are some common functionalities around the LLM is. So the next thing which I'm sure you guys now will be hearing a lot about is agentic AI. So just around 2022, ChatGPT come and changed, it almost changed the AI landscape. Everyone wants to work with AI. Everyone was talking about AI. But if I ask you like what ChatGPT is, many people will say that ChatGPT is a chatbot which essentially is just built over GPT model, let's say GPT-3, GPT-4, or initially it was launched with GPT-3. Now it has gone to GPT 5.2 as well. But ChatGPT is not just a chatbot. When it was launched, it was just a chatbot. But now ChatGPT is an AI agent. So, okay, now you're going to ask me what an AI agent is and what is the difference between an AI agent and an LLM. So, AI agent is nothing but an LLM with some additional tools. Now, what are these tools? You can consider these tools as some APIs. Uh, let's take an example of what you can see from this picture. So, as you see here, my agent, or this is pretty much the LLM itself, LLM has access to some tools. Now, suppose you want the LLM, you give a question to LLM, which essentially talks about what is 2 plus 2. Now, you have given your LLM a tool called calculator, which it can use to answer this question. So what the LLM will do, that LLM will check that, hey, do I have a tool that can take care of this user's query? So the query talks about calculating 2 plus 2. So it will probably use the calculator. It will take the inputs and then calculator will give a response, and that response will be sent back to the LLM. So long story short, what is an agent? Agent is an LLM with some tools, but it's not just tools only. You also give some additional sets. First is that you want your LLM to not just answer question, you want your LLM to do planning. You want your LLM to work in the manner that based on your query, it can generate its own thought. In industry, how agents are built is essentially with three triplets. So first is the thought prompt, second is the action prompt, and third is the observation prompt. When these three works together, when your user gives a query, let's say that, hey, I want to generate some code where I want to build my custom portfolio website based on my GitHub profile. So first, based on the user query, LLM tries to generate a thought that, hey, what I need to do. Then once the thought is generated, it checks that, hey, what I'm going to need to accomplish these tasks. So at the action stage, it will look for the tools that it had. And then once it executes the action, then it is going to go in the observation prompt where it is going to see that, hey, is my task accomplished? Okay, if the task is accomplished, then fine. If not, then I need to redo it. So another thought will get generated. So this works in an iterative manner so that it is able to achieve what it needs to do. So what is an AI agent? An AI agent is an LLM that has the ability to not just answer the question, but it has reasoning ability. It has a thought process. So it works on a goal-based system where user gives a goal, then agent breaks it into steps, then it chooses the right set of tools that it is going to need to fulfill the task, then it executes it in that steps. And at the end of the day, it has the results which it essentially combines and gives back. Let's consider a real world example to what we have just discussed. So a user come first, let's talk about LLM approach. So you can go to a chatbot. In the chatbot mode, a user comes and it say that, hey, plan a 3-day business trip to Bangalore. Then what LLM does it that it comes up with, hey, these are the things that you should do. It suggests the flight options. It recommends hotel, provides you with the itinerary, and give you the suggestions. Okay, but what are the limitations here? Everything that LLM can do is essentially based on the knowledge that it has already learned. Okay, so while training, whatever knowledge it has, it is going to use that. So, but that knowledge, is it enough? That is the question here, and that is the limitations of just you working with the LLMs. You want flight options, but LLM does not have access to the internet. You want flight options. You want real at the flight options that you have at this point of the time, not the data that it was trained possibly few months back. So that it does not have the real time pricing, and you cannot book the tickets using LLM, and you cannot do any follow-up action. And that's where AI agent kicks in. So with LLM, you do planning. With agents, you can do execution. Now, when the user will prompt that, hey, plan and book my 3-day business trip to Bangalore next week under 40,000 rupees. So how the agent will work, that it will first search for the real-time flights. Then it is going to compare the prices and see the schedules based on the initial prompt that you have given. Then it selects the best option that was there in the budget. So our budget was 40K. So we need flights only up till 40K, not above that. Then it books hotels, flight, it add itinerary to your calendar, and it can send you the email. So everything that you want is automatically done by the AI agent itself. So with LLM, we just interact with a chatbot, we just ask question, but with AI agents, we are able to do executions. And how this happens with what we have already discussed is tool call. Agents plan what it needs to do. It checks that it has everything that at its disposal to accomplish this task. For example, it want to check the real-time availability of flights. It wants to check the prices and schedules of it. So it need access to the flights API. You want to book tickets and you want to book hotels as well. So it should have access to the flight booking and hotel booking APIs. Let's say Indigo, let's say Make My Trip, Oyo, all these APIs it is going to need. to do bookings. And yeah, we definitely are going to need a memory because everything that we have just talked about can certainly blow up the context window. So we want things in the memory where whenever we want, we can use it. And in this way, AI agent works. So your LLM is now an agent, which not just can be used for interaction. It can also now perform task. It can also get the job done. And that's why AI agents are everywhere. We are in industry at this point of time, we are seeing all the clients, almost every business wants to automate some of the tasks. So, and how they want to automate is with AI agents. They want 24/7 support. They want end-to-end execution. That's why throughout the industry, we are seeing this shift where there has been huge investments from almost all of our clients. So I have worked with multiple clients in my professional years of experience that I have. And from past 1 year, it has been all AI agents. Currently, I'm like building one, like a huge AI agent, which essentially is going to do the job of what a strategy consultant does. So IIMs, all the IIMs graduates gets into management consulting, and initially, let's say they come with a problem statement. A client comes, let's say it's Walmart. Walmart asks that, hey, I have businesses in US, but I want to expand my business in India. So what should be the steps that I should do? So these are the kind of problem statements that strategy consultants get. Now the work that I am doing is I'm trying to automate this. I'm trying to build an agent which essentially will be able to accomplish this. This is one of the examples of the work that is going on in the industry, and there are multiple such examples. Almost you might have seen that uh, in the AI landscape. In you, almost all the company have moved away from human support to a chatbot based support. So this is what has been going on in industry. The major shift has already happened, or it is happening at this point of time. Okay, now let's talk about challenges and risk of using AI. We talked about hallucinations, where AIs sound confident, but it is wrong. This is one of the problems that we have with AI. That's why it needs human. Anything that AI generates, it needs human to have a look on it. Especially if you go ahead and you want to generate some stats, AI will start quoting some stats based on the historical data that it has, but that stats could be wrong. And how you can just cross check that as well is that, let's say you have asked an LLM to that you want some stats from XYZ. Now just ask it again 2 or 3 times. And if you're seeing that that number, that stats that it is generating, you will see that it sometimes changes. Then in that way, you will be able to understand that, hey, possibly there is a case of hallucination here. I might need to look if AI is giving me the wrong information. So hallucination is a big challenge that is there with AI at this point of time. Now, next is the bias, we have already discussed the biases. So I'll take the same example. Most people write with right hand, not with left hand. You go ahead and you tell AI that draw me a picture where a human is writing from right hand, sorry, left hand. If the AI has been trained properly, it will be, and like they have taken care of the biases, then it should be able to generate you a picture where human is writing from its left hand. But if the biases has not been taken care of, it will definitely generate the picture where human is writing from right hand. And I would encourage you to that after this session, just go and try the same prompt where you just go and ask LLM to generate a picture. You try this with ChatGPT, Gemini, and just see what output it is going to give. Now, the next is that lack of true understanding. So I think this can be clubbed with hallucination as well. So it predicts patterns, but it does not reason it like humans. So LLM lacks true understanding because it is trained on data. It does not have humans intelligence, empathy, and all these other qualities. Now, over resilience, data privacy, limited accountability can all be clubbed together. AI, we need human there. Data privacy is also something that almost all the countries, especially in the industry, are worried about at this point of time. We now, all these big giants, OpenAI, Google, Claude, Grok, they say that they don't use our data, but like there's no way to verify that if they are using our data or not. So data privacy is always a concern. So long story short, challenges with AI, the risk of using AI. AI is very powerful, but it must be used responsibility and with a human in the loop. You just don't blindly rely on what AI is generating. So with this, we have ended our journey from generative AI to agentic AI. And the next big thing and the next topic that we are going to discuss is prompt engineering. So just a second, let me just drink some water. Yeah. So prompt engineering. This is perhaps the most important thing and most important skill that you need to learn when you're using AI, when you want to work with AI. A good prompt engineer can get the outputs in the manner that he wants. Like he can, like a good prompt engineer can literally get responses from AI that a normal user just can't. You need to learn prompt engineering because if you want the best output from AI, prompt engineering is something that you need to do. So when I talk about prompt engineering, what exactly it is? It is the art of telling the LLM what it needs to do to give you the best response. Let's just consider one example that I have given here, that you want to write a LinkedIn post about AI. A simple user will just go ahead and say, write a LinkedIn post about AI. But what a good prompt engineer will do, it will tell the LLM that, hey, act as a tech consultant, write a LinkedIn post, in this much words, explain how AI is changing every day we work. Consider the audience to be non-technical as well, and use a friendly tone and generate some questions which could be thought-provoking. So, what is a good prompt? Like how you can say that this is a good prompt and the first one is a bad prompt. So let's look into that. What is the recipe to write a good prompt? So a good prompt clearly defines what there is the role of AI here. Always try to assign a role to your AI. Let's say you are a coder like me and you want AI to generate code. So the first thing that I will tell my LLM that, hey, act as a Python developer. Okay, so now LLM knows that what it needs to act as. The next thing is that I will define a task that what I need to do. So for example, I will give it a task that I want to write a machine learning algorithm on this data, and I will give it the data. And I can also be more specific here that, hey, I want this data to give me time series analysis. I would give some context, which is nothing but background information. I would tell that, hey, this data is essentially the stock prices of XYZ company from past this years. I will give some context so that it is able to understand what this data is all about. I can give some constraints, like which could be some rules, tone, length. Let's say if I'm writing a post, then I need to give the tone. Let's say I'm doing coding, so I can give some Python standards. I would say that, hey, use Python PEP 8, which is an internationally adopted standard that is there. Now, the format, how I want my output to be. So I would ask that, hey, I want my Python output, my output to be a Python code which is executable. And then possibly I will give some examples as well. That, hey, this is this is how the output format is. I will write some Python functions and I will mention that you need to write the output functions in this manner. So this is what a good prompt would look like. It should have a clear role. It should have a task. You add context. You give constraints. You can also add guardrails here in constraints. Then you give the output format and you go ahead and give some examples. There is one very good link that I have attached in the glossaries where you can go and read about the best practices for prompt engineering, and this is from OpenAI. So it has certain points. So let's just cover it now. I think we have some time, so we'll cover it. So first thing first is try always to use the latest model. Now, sometimes this is not possible because sometimes you need some subscription around it. So, but yeah, like to get the best results, always try to use the latest model as much as you can. But if you are having a free subscription, then go ahead and use whatever is at your disposal. Next is that put instructions at the beginning of the prompt and use some kind of separator, like hash or these doc string to separate the instruction and the context. So let's say that this is how you write summarized text below. And this is a bad example where you're not covering it inside any quotes or inside any inside hash symbols. But if you do it here in this way, LLMs works more effectively. Now, the third point is that be specific, descriptive, and detailed as possible about the output, the desired content, outcome, length, etc. I think we already discussed this with our example that we had here. Then articulate the desired output format, which we already discussed, that always try to give the output format so that LLM is able to generate the results in the manner that you want. Then start with zero shot, few shot, and neither of them. Okay, but what is zero shot and few shot? So zero shot and few shot are nothing but prompting techniques where zero shot means that you don't give any example to the LLM on how you want the output to be. And few shot is that you add few examples. So here, as you can see here, the task is that you want to extract keywords from the corresponding text. User will provide text here, and what keywords needs to be come out is not something that has been given here in the zero shot example. But in the few shot, you see that it has the text that this is in the example we covered that this is a text and this is the keywords that I want from the text. This is the text two and these are the keywords that I want from text two. So you go ahead, you start it with zero shot, then try few shot and see how it is working. And if neither of them is working, then we go ahead and use fine tuning techniques. Fine tuning is something that is more cost involved. Like you need to uh, readjust weights of the LLM. So it involves quite a few cost and it is pretty much intensive. So that's why this is the approach we follow. Predominantly, you will like very rarely you will see an instance of fine tuning. Now the LLMs have become so good that zero shot and few shot works very fine. Now the next is that reduce fluffy and impressive descriptions. So give fairly deterministic things, like I don't put anything which is a bit ambiguous. The description of this product should be fairly short, few sentences, not too much more. So this is pretty much ambiguous, like fairly short, but what is fairly short? Fairly short can be different in different context. Few sentences, okay, 5 sentences, 2 sentences, 10 sentences. So it's always better to give straight instruction, like use 3 to 5 sentence paragraph to describe this product. Here it clearly defines that, hey, I need this many sentences. So this will always generate better result than this. Instead of just saying what not to do, say what to do. Now, let's again come back to the example where I say, always consider AI as human. And when we say human to not do something, the chances are that they are going to do it. And you can't ask uh, someone to just not think about anything. Like if I just tell you that, hey, your job is to not think about elephant. But the very first thing that you do is that, hey, I have not to think about elephant. So I have already thought about elephant, right? So never just say that what not need to be done and better to say what to be done. I will not say that don't think about elephant. I will say think about lion. So now you're thinking about lion. So in this manner, we get better responses, that we don't just say that, hey, do not do this, do not this. It's always better to mention that what you need to do rather than what you not need to do. The next is code generation specific, use leading words to nudge model. toward a particular pattern. So while you are asking to write any code, you see in the example, it talks about adding import hints to model that it should start writing in Python. And when you when you give these kind of instruction, uh, you mention that, hey, just write a Python function that can do XYZ. But at least that if you give it some if you give it some more context around here, like, hey, if you want to have added import statements, okay, import statement is something that essentially Python functions is going to use. That means that there should already be a function which could be taking care of this. So I would rather just import it than rewrite it down. Similarly, it has given for the select statement that, hey, it is a good hint that this is the start of the SQL statement. Use generate anything feature. So uh, here it again talks about the model parameters, completion tokens, and also I think I've already touched it. So I will not spend more time here. You just go ahead and use this. Like, this is a very good link, and this comes from OpenAI, the person who has built the model. So because they have built the model, so it's best that we follow the best practices that what have been passed down from the very person who has developed that. So yeah, just go through this link. It is attached in the PPT I will be sharing. And yeah, before we leave this topic, a final cheat code from my end. And this is where it becomes crazy that you ask AI itself to write the prompts and to improve the prompt. So you tell AI itself that, hey, act as a prompt engineer. And your task is to improve the prompt that I have gave you. And your task is to tell me if I have missed something. Your task is to ask me questions. Here is my original prompt. Now you tell me what should be the best to get the final output. So we will use AI itself to improve the prompts. And this is the cheat code that I want each and every one of you guys to use. So whatever prompt that you think that you have written, just ask the LLM to improve it. Ask the LLM to have, if you want to ask any questions about the ambiguities, go ahead and ask. And then LLM will refine your prompt, and this will definitely give you the best results. So we are using AI to outsmart AI. Funny, right? Now we come and we talk about some of the common tools that we have in the AI space. ChatGPT being one of the tools that I think almost everyone has his hands on. So ChatGPT, I think almost all of you have worked upon it, but I'm not sure if all of you now know about the full potential of ChatGPT, especially the new model, the 5.2. Uh, some people might have access to this, some people might not, depending upon the kind of subscription that you have. But still, I think even the previous version should have the feature that I'm talking about now. So now when I say ChatGPT is an agent, previously you just write some prompts here and it gives you the answer back upon it. But now there are multiple tools which have been integrated in ChatGPT, and you can see them in here in apps. So now the ChatGPT agent has access to all these tools: Canva, Adobe Photoshop, Apple Music, Figma, Spotify, Trip Advisor, Trip Planner. All you need to do here is, while you interact with ChatGPT, you just write an @ and then you will be able to tag f- what you need to do. Like from Adobe Photoshop, let's say you want to edit some picture using Adobe Photoshop, select it, give the prompt, give it the picture, and it will try to use Adobe Photoshop to edit that. Now, obviously, because some of these tools might require subscription, so people might need subscription around it. But my goal here was to just to let you guys know that if these things are possible with it, so with these integrations, now this is a much more powerful tool than what it used to be. You click here, and now you see multiple modes here. First is that create image. Obviously, now you can create images with AI. Then we have the one that I want to talk about is this deep research. So what this deep research does, these deep research look through over the internet for things that you want. So suppose you as a researcher wants to do research on a particular topic. Uh, let's say that what you want to do that I want to check, I want to create a report encapsulating all the major advancements that has been done in AI over past decade. So you tell the LLM here you want to create a report encapsulating all the major advancements that has been made in the past decade. You can mention that include sources because you would obviously want to verify that. Include sources, and you can add some more instructions if you want, but for now let's just pass it here. uh, and yeah, I'm sorry I'm not following the best practices here. We can obviously do that, but because we have gone into the research mode and we have gone into the mode where now LLM itself will ask you question. So first, before even like going ahead what it want to do, it went ahead and first asked couple of questions at his ends. Like to create a detailed report on major AI advancement over past decade, could you please clarify the following? Are you focusing on specific domain of AI, NLP, computer vision, etc., etc.? So let's try to answer these questions. So for first, let's say I want on NLP. So I will give NLP. For second question, what it talks about, do you want this to focus more on academic weeks through industry academic way industry applications or both? So let's say I want for industry applications. So I will just give industry applications. Then what level of depth are you aiming? High level, deep technical insight, etc. So let's stick to high level for now. I will do a high level overview. Would you like the report to include timelines, key contribution? Yes. And would you have preferred a format, bullet points, formal report, etc.? So let's just give formal report for now. So when you enter all these 5 things, now what it has started to do, that it has started searching. So that is what you need to do. You need to go ahead and go into the deep research mode when you want to go ahead and look over the internet for some deep research that you want to do. So now you see it will go ahead and it will try to do sources at his ends. It is going to take some time to for this to get executed, but this is how it is going to happen. And for the people who use ChatGPT, this is the way to do it. For the people who prefer Gemini, you can go here in the Gemini, and what you can do here in the you can grow in the in the thinking mode for the maths problem. You can go in the pro mode where you need to work with math and code. And I don't have the subscription, but yeah, you can upgrade for the deep thinking mode that you are seeing here in the chat GPT as well. So whatever functionality that you essentially see with one agent, you will always see with its other counterpart as well. So always try to find, uh, always try to connect the dots. So people who prefer ChatGPT, now you have a deep research mode and you have a thinking mode, which essentially is for more logical, more mathematical things. Just like the tools integration there, now we have the tools integration here as well. And because I don't have the subscription for uh, Gemini, I have it for Chat GPT. But for those who have the subscription for Chat Gemini, one very powerful thing that Google has done, it has just integrated its entire Google workspace here. So uh, now with at the rate, you see that it has access to Google Calendar, Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive, etc. So you go ahead and give it a prompt here that, hey, I want to write a document on AI. I want this to get mailed to XYZ person, and it will be able to do everything. You, it is going to generate a doc with Google Docs. It will get uploaded in a Google Drive, and it will be able to send it across the recipient that you want to do. Just exactly like what we discussed on when we were talking about the AI agent. The only thing is that if I go ahead and do that, it is going to take quite a bit time. So I'm not going to demonstrate that because I think we have more things to cover. As you can see, this deep research is essentially taking quite a bit time. It takes time. So yeah. So we discussed about Chat GPT. We discussed about Gemini. Chat GPT is good for writing emails, document, brainstorming ideas, etc. Google, like I mentioned, it's best if you want to work with the Google ecosystem. It connects you across your Google apps. Also, it is very good for generating images. I'm not sure if who follows the AI space, but the person who follows the AI space should be familiar with some of the tools that Google has developed for image generation and video. So we have Nano Banana Pro, which is what Google is using to generate images. We have VO3, which essentially is Google is tools to generate videos. And you go ahead, you try that. With free, you have some free attempts there. You will be able to like generate 5 or 10 minutes of video, but I'm not sure about it. But yeah, you can definitely go ahead and check it out. If your work requires that you need AI, you need to generate a video, go ahead and explore that option. You can suppose that you are you want to develop a content on social media, so you can definitely use AI, and you can use combination of the AI tools to which can help you achieve that. So with Gemini or with ChatGPT, I can simply ask the LLM to generate a script based on this topic, and then I go ahead and take the script. I pass it to a video generator tool like VO3, and it should be able to generate that video. So the next set of tools, Claude is also the next. The three big, like we have three big players in the AI space for now: OpenAI, ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, and third is Anthropic's Claude. And Claude is very good for coding. I personally use Claude for coding. In the GitHub Copilot. So for all the developers out there, you must be working with GitHub Copilot, and I would suggest that use Claude's Anthropic over ChatGPT or Gemini, because it is very good there in the VS Code in the agent mode. Now the next tool that I want to discuss is Notebook LM. Now many people don't know about this, but I want, like, this is an excellent tool for people who are interested in learning, who want to who do research, and people who for students as well. Like this is such a useful tool. Okay, so let me just explain it. So first, like, this tool has been developed by Google. You can simply just search Notebook LM, and you go ahead and click here to try Notebook, and it will come here. And what this tool can do is that it eliminates the context window restriction that we have. So like we talked about, that every model has a context window limit, that that context window, if mm, that context window is blown, then LLM is does not work properly. But what this Google Notebook has done, that it has created a persistent storage for all the contents that you are doing, and it has built a system on top of that. So just few moments back, I was showing you this paper, attention is all you need. So what I have done here is that in the sources, I have added this PDF, attention is all you need. And now, the, and this is a huge PDF. If you want to upload this PDF to ChatGPT, it might probably just blow up the context window because it has so many tokens. So let's say you want to ask questions from ChatGPT or any other on Gemini on some of the things that you see here, you won't be able to do that. But with Notebook LM, it is it is such a powerful tool that you go ahead, you upload the document, and you ask the questions from here. Let's say if I want to answer this question, that how does the transformer architecture replace recurrent? So this is a complicated question, but as you can see, I can chat with my PDF, and not just one PDF. You go ahead in the resources section and just see that how much things that you can do. You can upload files, you can upload webs, you can add links to website, you can add links to any YouTube video, you can add document from your Google Drive, link it here, and based on that, you will be able to chat with the document that you have uploaded or the video, ask questions about it. But is this all what it can do? No. This is such a powerful tool, which, let's say for this document, you go and you want to generate a mind map of it. So I have generated a mind map of it, and what this mind map essentially is do. So it's here, see, the transformer architecture predominantly this is predominantly about transformer architecture, right? You go ahead and you see the core concepts. Okay, what is the core concepts? Attention only architecture, no occurrence on convolution, parallelable computation. You have all the things from the architecture, encoder, decoder, common elements. And you can just open this and it will take you to the lowest level. So you will be able to connect dots here. Suppose that you want to, like, remember things, you want this becomes so powerful. With this, you will be able to recall things very quickly. So this is one of the features that you get with Notebook LLM, this mind map and all. But is this only feature? No. You can generate report. You can create a report. You can give the instruction here that if you want to write a blog post about it, you want to do anything, basically just give formatting its instruction and you will be able to generate a report. That is something there. You can generate quiz, it can generate flashcards. So let's just see how long it is taking to generate the flashcard. But it can also generate audio. It can also generate a video of the content that you have done. Now, obviously, these things will you need some subscription. There is some free trial period for the amount of video that you can generate. Google is not going to give you such powerful tool for free. There are some restrictions, one or two video it can generate, or couple of videos, I'm not sure. With higher subscription, you will be able to generate more videos from the PDFs that you upload. You can generate audiobooks as well. So just see how many things that you can do and how powerful these tools become for a person who is there in the research field. They can go and just take a subscription of Notebook LLM. Even the free version has enough if your requirements are not very high. Use this for your research purposes. It's so good. But yeah, it takes some time. So, and we are on shortage of time, so let's not go there. The next tool that I want to talk about is Slides AI. Uh, Slides AI is an extension that you can install in your Microsoft PowerPoint, and with Slides AI, it will you can give instructions to generate the tools that to generate the presentation that you want. It will ask for the formatting. You see that here you want to edit, you want to create a new presentation. Let's say go ahead and ask to create a new presentation. It will talk about what is the topic, what is the content, instruction, context, outline. So you can customize this in the manner that you want, and you will be able to do that. So barring the time constraint that we have, I would leave this for at your disposal. Go ahead, get your hands dirty with the tools. It is so useful. All these tools are so much useful. And just go ahead and give it a try and try to. So, like one quick suggestion that I will give everyone, that whatever is your work that you're doing, try to use AI to do it more effectively. Just think of what is there at your disposal and use that to do it more effectively. That is one thing that I want you guys to have the key takeaway from today's session. Now I
So,
meant,
okay, go ahead, Amin. Go ahead.
yeah. So I'll just wrap up quickly. I know the time is going on. Yeah.
Mm.
So now at starting, I promised about that I will come back to this question. Will AI replace you? And the final answer is no. AI will not replace you, but the person who is using AI is most likely to replace you. And this does not come from me. This comes from a person whom I respect very much. He's the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang. So this is his statement. This is not something that I have said from my end, but I pretty much agree with it, that AI is not going to replace you, but the person who is going to use AI will definitely replace you. Yeah.
On that
Now,
note, Aman, there are some questions some people, some participants are definitely asking. And one
sure.
of them is in the presence of multiple soft computing techniques with superior performance, in the presence of multiple soft computing techniques with superior performance, how can one systematically select the most suitable algorithm for a specific problem?
Yeah. So because we have so many tools, um, so many LLM architecture, so many different models that we have, it is, and one could be good at something and another could be good at something else. So the best way to do is that try it is trial and error only. You go ahead and try with one, you go ahead and try with other and see how it performs. Also, there is like whenever a new model gets published, there are some benchmarks which essentially gets published around it. And these benchmarks are glue score, uh, how the model is performing with maths, how the model is performing with coding and all. So I would suggest that one if that go ahead first, read the read this release of the models that is there, and check which model is good at what task. Like I mentioned just a couple of slides back, Claude Anthropic is very good for coding. Google is very good for working with multimodal tasks. ChatGPT is very good with working with textual data. So every model will have some limitations. Every model will be a different model would be good at different things. So trial and error is a way to go also. But before I do that, there is always a publish material regarding how these bench LLM is performing with certain benchmarks. So go ahead and read those benchmarks, and then based on that, take a call. What is the right tool to use for that?
Okay. Another question that was being asked by one participant was that it is anticipated that next AI will be at a quantum level. Next AI revolution will be at a quantum level. So will LLM sustain, or this entire paradigm will submerge into it?
So the next revolution is definitely going to happen at the quantum layer, where we talk about artificial general intelligence and how, and it is possibly going to uh, be so powerful that even humans have existential threat around it. But how the industry will go, how things, if this will get submerged there, is something that we would have to see. Uh, Again, I think the building blocks will be same. As you see, the even the LLMs here comes from the very deep learning basic architecture of neural networks. It's just like it is now a huge neural network. So it is going to utilize it there. But in future, there could be some different model. There could be some super smart people coming up with different papers, just like attention is all you need, come up with a different architecture, which is essentially going to take care of it at the quantum level. But yeah, there is definitely something that is there. And on that note, I would just want people to uh, go ahead and hear a speech that is there. I have tagged it here from Geoffrey Hinton. For those who do not know, Geoffrey Hinton is considered the godfather of AI. Last year, he won Nobel Prize on physics for his work. And on his Nobel Prize speech, he has mentioned very much about the risks that is there from the AI, even the essential threat that we talked about, this quantum level AI, artificial general intelligence. So yeah, people just have a look around it. Jeffrey Hinton, the most respected person there in the industry. So
Okay.
yeah, please do.
I think the time constraint is has we have to wrap up due to time constraints. Priyanka, you can give away the big vote of thanks, please.
Am I audible?
You are audible.
Thank you, sir. I express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker for delivering an engaging and informative session on AI for everyone, prompt engineering and common AI tools. The session provided valuable insights into how artificial intelligence can be effectively used by individuals from all backgrounds. Your clear explanations of prompt engineering, along with practical demonstrations of commonly used AI tools, has made complex concepts accessible and relevant. The inputs were particularly enlightening and empowering. We sincerely appreciate your time, expertise, and effort in making this session impactful. It has undoubtedly broadened our understanding and encouraged us. Thank you so much, Aman.
Thank you, Aman. On a personal note, thank you so much for this enlightening session.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shiva. Thank you, Dr. Priyanka. And yeah, it was very good engaging with so many bright minds, and it was nice working with you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.